Good evening and welcome to FRC Media News for Thursday, September 6, 2018. I'm Keith Tebow. Tonight we have an update on the Fall River Middle Street Drainage Project, information about what the Fall River Career Center name change really means for those seeking jobs, and then preview the events associated with the Southeastern Asian Cultural Festival to be held at Heritage State Park this weekend. But first, let's check in with the city news editor at the Herald News, Will Richmond. We meet with him each week to talk about the news headlines of the week. Welcome back, Will.
Hey, Keith, good to see you again.
Same here. This week, believe it or not, there was an election held on Tuesday. It was state primary day in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Even though locally there wasn't too much going on, statewide there were some results that shake things up. There will be a new congressman out of the Boston area, as incumbent Congressman Michael Capuano was upset in the primary. There was also a contested race for Secretary of State, but when all was said and done, Secretary of State Bill Galvin won renomination, and he'll be going on in November. Locally, Will, though, there was only one local primary race that was contested. That was in the race of County Commissioner, where New Bedford County Commissioner John Saunders won re-election, but it was pretty quiet here locally. Do you have any information of how Fall River voted in the primary?
Yeah, so Fall River, from what we've gathered, about 11% of the electorate came out. You know, not a big number. You know, there's just under 50,000 registered voters here in Fall River, so you know, just under 11,000 were the ones who came out. Obviously, there were many more ballots cast in the Democratic primaries than there were in the Republican, and obviously, you know, there was a Libertarian candidate running as well, I believe, for auditor. You know, that brought out 32 voters. So not many voters out. You know, as you mentioned, there weren't many contested races. There was the county commissioner. And just to clarify, John Saunders wasn't reelected. He does have a Republican
Correct.
that will be running against him. So, you know, so there was that race. Joe Kennedy had a primary opponent. Bill Keaton had a primary opponent on the congressional level. So that may have helped in some ways, though neither of those opponents were you know, much of a challenge for either of the incumbents. So really, there were no massive challenges. The governor's race had the opponent had a race at the primary level, as you mentioned, but really there was nothing to no marquee race to really bring voters to the poll to make them feel like they were going to make a decision, much like the race up in the Boston area you mentioned that led to a new congresswoman being elected over incumbent Michael Capuano.
Yeah. So again, it's pretty disheartening when you know, we don't have active races here locally. It does impact the turnout, and even as we've mentioned before, as we look ahead to the November election, obviously, you know, the races for governor and other state offices will be contested. Governor Baker looking for a second term, and you know, we talked about the congressmen, both Congressman Keating and Congressman Kennedy. I believe Congressman Kennedy does not have a Republican challenger. Is that correct? But Congressman Keating does.
Yes. So Kennedy is now through to his next term, essentially. Obviously, his name will appear on the ballot again in November, but with no opponent. And Congressman Keating is going to be facing Republican Peter Tedeschi of from out more towards the Cape Cod part of the district.
Right. And the only local race, we've talked about this before, will be one of the state representative races, as State Representative Carol Fiola in the 8th Bristol District will be facing a challenge from Dr. David Steinhoff. This will be, I guess, Fiola Steinhoff 3, as originally when Representative Fiola was elected, I believe, that was a special election when David Sullivan had left his office as state representative. They faced off in the following election. They faced off again 2 years ago. I believe Representative Fiola did not have a competitor in the final election. So it'll be interesting to see whether Dr. Steinhoff will make any headway. But that's pretty much it locally in terms of elections. There are some county offices that may have some challenges, but again, nothing usually that will probably bring a lot of people out in November. So we'll have to wait and see how that shakes out. In other news that is sort of election related and politically related, our Bristol County Sheriff, Tom Hodgson, was in Washington this week, where he was at a conference or a gathering of sheriffs from across the country. And he's actually spearheading an effort by sheriffs across the country to seek public support in financing the border wall. And he was actually leading a ceremony with President Trump and Vice President Pence this week, correct?
Yeah, so this just happened yesterday down in Washington, D.C. Sheriff Hodgson is among the leaders, as you mentioned, of an effort to increase public support, and they've started a crowdfunding sort of website to try to raise donations to get a wall built. So, we are far away from the southern border of the United States, but Sheriff Hodgson has decided it seems appropriate to spend some time to get that wall built.
And if you're interested in finding out more, the website is sheriffswall.org, sheriffswall.org, to find out more information about how many sheriffs across the country are banding together to see if they can raise funds to build that border wall to Mexico. And finally, there was an article that the Herald News posted, I believe it was yesterday, talking about the housing market here in Fall River. An outside study done by the website Wallet Hub, which I don't know too much about, I don't know if you do, ranked 300 of the largest housing markets in the country. And based on their polling, the city of Fall River did not fare too well, coming in at number 287 of 300. Do you know any more about this survey?
Certainly, it's this is an organization that releases these type of reports on almost a daily basis. They look at everything from education. They've ranked community colleges in the past, healthcare rates. So they just kind of compile a lot of information to put it into a list of various things across the country. Fall River, as you mentioned, ranked 287th. New Bedford was right in that area as well. So it seems that for the most part, many of Massachusetts' gateway-type cities, as we've come to know them, did not rate very highly in this study. They consider things from home value forecast to share of listings with price cuts, average number of days a house is on the market before it's sold. So in the end, I don't think it's telling us anything we may not know here in Fall River, but it never feels good to see it quantified and sort of,
right.
See it down on the bottom of a list like this.
Right. And other communities that are actually lower than Fall River and New Bedford are places, other areas that had traditionally been industrial locations in Michigan, Newark, New Jersey, parts of Connecticut. So again, something that unfortunately we hear about here in Greater Fall River, and not always nice to hear about, but it is a barometer of some sorts of what's happening out there. All right, Will, what's coming up over the next few days?
Yeah, so this week, our reporter Jo Good had the opportunity to go on the set of Jungle Land, and she'll bring you a report from sort of behind the scenes and tell you what the producers think about filming right here in Fall River.
It's not like being on the set of FRCmedia, I'm sure.
Listen, the spotlights can only be so bright in so many places.
That's right. That's right. We have our little niche here in Fall River. All right, Will, have a great week. We'll talk to you next time.
All right, it's good seeing you, Keith.
We'll have more FRCmedia news right after this.
Here are some job descriptions on the latest hot jobs list from the Mass Hire Fall River Career Center. Maintenance Machine Mechanic. TACO Incorporated, located at 583 Bedford Street, is looking for a full-time maintenance machine mechanic to perform a variety of duties involved in the preventative maintenance of machines throughout the plant. Job number 10988412. Attorney. Batello Law Group, located at 901 Eastern Avenue, seeks a full-time licensed attorney to handle litigation cases in family law, criminal law, and personal injury. Job number 10988051. Sandwich artist. Subway, located at 4171 North Main Street, is in need of a part-time sandwich artist to greet and serve guests, prepare food, and operate the cash register. Job number 10979343. Kindred Healthcare, located at 275 Martine Street, is looking to fulfill the following full-time positions. Home Health Registered Nurse, job number 10988289. Behavioral Health Nurse, job number 10988287. South Coast Health Urgent Care, located at 450 William S. Canning Boulevard, is looking to fulfill the following full-time positions. Interventional Radiology Technologist, job number 10976476. Surgical Coordinator, job number 10976473. For more information on these or other positions, visit Mass Hire JobQuest at jobquest.detma.org or call the Mass Hire Fall River Career Center at 508-730-5000.
Welcome back. The Middle Street Drainage Project in the city's south end is progressing right on schedule. While the finished work will help with drainage problems that occur frequently in that area, it will also help with another major problem, combined sewer overflow issues. Here's more.
We are improving the CSO, and we are also improving the drainage at South Main Street and Middle Street for the St. Anne's Hospital. It's twofold.
So is this more of a flooding area?
St. Anne's Hospital has been known in the heavy rains to have a flooding issue, yes.
And this will alleviate it?
This should alleviate most of it, yes.
Now, tell us the time frame.
Time frame is we started this project in April of 2018, and we should be totally complete with all surface reconstruction, curbings, trees by July of 2019.
Do you know what they're doing about traffic?
With traffic, we have temporary traffic detours in place as we come through major intersections, but we're not really altering any of the traffic that's here now.
Is it going to be beautified at all, or?
We are putting in trees, we are putting in plantings, we are resurfacing the roads, we are putting in new granite curbing. So yes, it's going to be nicer than when we came.
Fall River's water treatment facility is also undergoing some repair work after 2 pumps failed earlier this summer, causing administrators to order new replacement parts. A spokesman for Community Utilities gives us this update.
The pump 2, which is the smaller one, the one that we plan on putting in first, is being assembled now at the local distributor, and it's expected within 2 weeks to have pump 2 installed. Once pump 2 is installed, we're going to verify, make sure everything works okay for about a week and a half, 2 weeks. Then we're going to remove the old pump 4 and install the new pump 4. So the cost right now of the pumps that we're installing, pump 2 and pump 4, is about $150,000. We're doing some electrical upgrades at the plant too, also to the feeds that feed those pumps. So we're probably about $80,000 with those upgrades, and then we probably have about another $200,000 on the other pumps to rebuild those and bring everything else up to as we planned the project originally. Right now, we're under a voluntary water conservation, as we have been most of the summer. So as of right now, you can water your grass, fill your pools, and do all of the basic activities that we do, that you do. We ask that you conserve as always and not use water if you don't need to, not be wasteful.
The Fall River Career Center is going by a new name these days. The state has renamed the center the Mass Hire Fall River Career Center, and for good reason, as we hear in this report.
The purpose of this really was to make sure that everyone understands the importance of the brand that is now the Mass Hire brand across the state of Massachusetts for anyone that's either looking for a job or an employer that's looking to fill a position. We see it locally as an opportunity to yet again reconnect with anyone that's looking to post a job or looking for work or additional services to make sure that they use our entire Career Center system and all the resources that are available. So we're very happy with that, and we look forward to serving the community.
So basically, there's no real change.
All the change is definitely an importance in highlighting the relationships that are there. You know, we want to make sure that it's clear that our mission is to help people, to help businesses find qualified workers. We want to connect with the entire community. We want to encourage everyone to take advantage of these. So what's changed really is a logo that stands for something that, in essence, tells everyone, make sure that you know that you can get this at any career center that you go, whether you go to Fall River, Taunton, Attleboro, New Bedford, Brockton, or all of the 28 career centers, that this will be very important for you to know that it's there. I think it's great for the state of Massachusetts as well, because any business looking to come to Massachusetts will know that if they deal with one particular career center in one part of the state, if they move to or have an expansion to another part of the state, they'll also be able to get that type of service there. So I think in terms of economic development, that's also a fantastic opportunity for our state, our Commonwealth, certainly our city, and our residents.
We'll have more FRC Media News right after this.
Welcome to Hot Dogs and Cool Cats. Today we have Fella. He is a 3-year-old male boxer, and he arrived at the shelter about 5 weeks ago. He is deaf. He has a chicken allergy. He likes toys, especially the ball. He likes to play with balls. He likes to go for walks, and he loves to cuddle. He does very well in baths, and he enjoys the water. So if you'd like to come down and meet Fella, come down to Forever Paws.
Hi, welcome to Hot Dogs and Cool Cats. This is not a dog and it's not a cat. This is Flip Flop. He's a ferret. And he is so full of himself right now. He wants to play, play, play. He's gotten out of his cage now and he wants to play and explore. I love ferrets. I think they're really cool animals. The smell. You have to be able to deal with the smell because that's what they come with, smell. He's a little boy. He's already neutered. And I think he's a young guy, maybe a year or so. You calmed down yet? Hi. He's very silly, is what I'd call him. He's a silly boy. He loves to play, but he loves to interact with people too. So if you'd like to meet him, he's here at Forever Paws. We're open 11 to 4 every day but Wednesday and major holidays. Excuse you. And we'd love for you to come and meet him, and he'd love to meet you.
Welcome back. The Southeastern Asian Cultural Festival will be held this weekend at Fall River Heritage State Park.
There'll be good food, there'll be dancing, there'll be dance troops, there'll be a fashion show, there'll be martial arts, all kinds of good stuff. Kids' activities, adult things. It's going to be a great cultural afternoon. Last year I went to the Cambodian Festival, and this has grown out of the Cambodian Festival to include other cultures. Now it's 3 cultures. But the Cambodian Festival was a lot of fun. I saw things there that were very unique and very exciting. It's bigger. It's three different Asian cultures this year. It's not just Cambodian. It's Pan-Asian, meaning multiple Asian cultures.
Fall River Recreation is urging area residents to sign up for fitness programs that begin this month. Here's Executive Director Grace Gerling with details.
We have our usual programs, our judo, our dance, our baton classes, gymnastic classes, our fitness classes. So we want folks to come out and register prior to that last week.
Now, all the activities, are they just for kids or adults as well?
We have some programs that are offered to adults. Fitness programs are for adults. We have our fitness center here at our location on 45 Rock Street. We have free weights, and we also have ellipticals. We have a couple of ellipticals and a couple of treadmills. We have a machine that you can use for multiple body parts, and we encourage folks to come and check it out. It's a small neighborhood fitness center. It's not busy. It's not very intimidating for folks that are just starting out and want to exercise. It's a great way to start off. And if you want to join a bigger gym, they can also do that later on. But it's a great place to start and work out.
That'll do it for this edition of FRC Media News. You can catch FRC Media News Thursdays and Fridays at 6 o'clock and online at our website, frcmedianews.org. For all of us here at FRC Media News, I'm Keith Tebow. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next Thursday.